skirmishes that we have seen come through from V5 are going to be a bit more successful rather than what we saw in the first game.
Oh, and look at that. Swapping sides and Ziggs is banned away by V5 this time. This is a really interesting change in the draft to make sure that they're pinpointing a source of a problem that they had faced last time. Kepler on that Ezreal, he was a terror, but he struggled immensely despite that from the laning phase, just due to the fact that the Ziggs could constantly shove in the lane.
And I wonder if the priority is going to change up a little bit here. With these bans coming through, Set is still up and available. We know Set, as we just talked about, had a lot of priority on towards this champion and did phenomenal on it. So question is now, is that what you're looking to pick up for V5 instead? And I would approve of this first pick if it were to come through.
I think you have to take that away from ZS. He is just way too damn good on that champion, even if there are other picks like that Ezreal, like this Rumble that they actually opt to go for instead. I feel like the comfort for this player on Ultra Prime side is just too damn high.
That can be a bit dangerous though. There's still the AP jungler like Diana up and available who's risen highly in priority of LPL. So you could pick up Diana, you could pick up the Set, and you still have that nice AD to AP ratio that we talk a lot about with the mixed damage. So it would not surprise me to see that come through. And I don't want to call it a blunder just yet from the side of V5, but I do think the priority there should have lied elsewhere.
I agree completely with you. The Viego is something that they normally put a lot of priority onto as well, having it so that now you have this difficult, more skill-based matchup in the Rumble versus Diana with giving ZS his set. I'm imagining that is locked in. That is a guarantee because this player is just so fantastic on this champion.
Yeah, there we go. That's two extremely powerful champions coming through. And the thing is, though, you can still put it up with playing for solo laners with the 280 carries that's up and available. Ezreal, Varus, two of the strongest AD carries still up on this patch. And I think you just go for the Varus here. I think you just lock in your AD carry. And then you just, then you say, all right, we scale into the mid game. We'll just play for the solo laners or the junglers here.
I think you are 100% right. Even if it is this Ezreal, this Lucian they lock in instead, I think the Varus is one of those picks that just does so well into Lucian since they're not going to be able to go into that Ziggs anymore. They want to get this Lucian regardless. Xiao Xiaobao was a terror in the mid game on this champion, but it took a while before we really got to see that power come out through the mid lane.
Yeah, and we've seen this priority twice now from the side of Ultra Prime. I think it's just the fact that they value the Lucian pick a lot here. So with the 80 carries that's up and available, there's still a few that does the same as Varus in terms of your role in the team, in terms of your scaling up with the Ezreal or against the Ezreal rather. So obviously there's the Varus. Then you can even go for the Ashe if that's something you're looking for. Kalista is something we saw that V5 banned away earlier as well. But this time around, Ultra Prime, they're looking to ban some of the Elias champion pool away here. Already the Camille, which was a pick he had fairly high success with against PLG despite losing.
I mean, another one of the picks that we could kind of maybe see SMLC go back onto, the Kog'Maw is another one of those champions. They love to be able to play into the bot lane, into something like an Ezreal, just to be able to exert more control and more power towards the mid game when it comes to fully unlocking those team fights.
Yeah, I completely agree, and it's going to be curious to see what V5 wants to get out of the last ban here. They opted in for the Rakan in the beginning, but they're not going to follow that pattern. They're going to step it up a little bit and remove away the AD carry here, but that does still open up their support in the Leona here, which we saw Xiaoxi had. Or not Xiaoxi, but Reheal had a lot of priority on earlier, and still one of the strongest skirmishing supports we can get here in this league, and it's just going to be picked up from Ultra Prime. There's not too many counters left in that sense scenarios. Alistar, Thresh, Rakan, all off the table, and yes, you can default to a safer scenario with the Tahm Kench, but I wonder what the pickup is going to be here. Are they going to respond with a aggressive pick of themselves with the Nautilus or with the Rel, or are they going to go for the safe path here with the likes of Tahm Kench again?
Tom Kench could be the option, but it is going to be instead this Rel coming in from Reheal to give him something that can follow up this Viego as that engage, as the person to go in and try to disrupt the backline. But I look at this and still it's going to be difficult because I feel like Rel maybe needs to even function more of a disengage tool just because so many of these champions of Ultra Prime are going to try to dive into this backline.
Yeah, they most definitely are. There's still some CC that can try and deny that if they'd like to. I wonder what the pickup is going to be here for the last side of Ultra Prime, because right now you're looking at the team and you're looking towards playing for the solo laner. So you're looking to play a bit more far behind with the bot lane instead. And okay, now that is crazy. There's still some pick potential here from the side, and stealing away the ultimate from Bram with Silas can be very tough as well. But SMLC, Matt Magical, when we started this day, you said you wanted spicy champions, you wanted something new, and you got it here with SMLC brand coming through here.
Ah, man, I love these kind of picks. It functions so similarly to how the Ziggs does when it comes to the team fights, the amount of damage you're able to provide for the team. The one thing about it, though, that is definitely and significantly different is he's not going to be able to bulldoze down those towers. He's not going to be that siege tool that you had before in the Ziggs, but sure as hell, it is spicy.
Ultra Prime decided to bring the fire. I will say though, Brando doesn't have any mobility for himself to get away either. Very immobile champion, and as you just said yourself, doesn't nuke the turrets in the same sort of fashion. What he does do that is that he does have that wave clear. He does have some insane and backline damage that are what you're looking for. And in a team fight scenario, when Diana ultimate clumps up multiple players, when the set ultimate puts them together with the face breaker, that brand ultimate is going to be really dangerous as well.
It is going to be very dangerous, and in fact, SMLZ's entire job in these fights is to get his full rotation of spells out and then die. He is going to be blown out like a candle because all he has to do is set the house on fire for V5.
I guess that's just the play coming into this one. And okay, so we take stake at the two team compositions right here, and right now for both teams, it's still very much about the top side of the map, but I'm looking onto Ultra Prime, and they just have more tools in their arsenal right now for setting off some of these plays. They have the CC to play for. It's harder to get that on towards the mid lane. Uniboy is going to be pushed in by Xiao Shaobao on the Lucian up towards the top side of the map. Zedes is just playing the same matchup as before, only this time around there's not a Volibear to lock him down with the CC. It's all on the Viego to pin him down.
It is, and it's going to mean that ZS has an easier time of diving into this backline. His flanks are going to be even scarier than they were before. I'm looking at every single lane. I love this because SMLZ is the player I gotta focus on. I want to be able to talk more and more about this brand with the fact that you had already set up every one of these lanes is going to be difficult for V5. This bot lane especially, if we thought the Ziggs was already scary enough against Kepler, against this Ezreal, Brand is now going to have a kill threat because there's a Leona there as well.
It really is. Like, the CC can be absolutely insane, and that Pillar of Flame, once you get the passive stacks down, I mean, it's going to be explosive fights. And one thing the Silas can't benefit off with Brand is that he's not going to have the Brand passive. So even if you were lucky enough to get bounces, you can't even bounce on yourself. It's all onto getting it on towards the enemy team. So it does become a bit harder in that sense scenario, but this time around with the Brand, he's not going to be able to get that instant priority as we saw earlier with the 6. But SMLC has just decided that he's a mage player now. He's no longer about these AD carries.
Yes, 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 yes. This is something I love as, I'm a support player, but I also do like my Brand support just for that burst of damage that you're able to provide for the team. We got to switch gears to top lane. ZS. He is getting an immaculate trade. Every lane right now for UP besides that bot lane is having this huge shove into their opposition and taking full control, and this might allow Hacker to be the one to be able to look for a potential double scuttle.
Yeah, could try and look for it, but it's going to come down to the priority. In the mid lane, Xiao Shaobao should have it, just due to the matchup of Lucian versus Silas. And down towards the spot side of the map, I am not fully sure how this Brand functions going over the levels here, but I'll guess we'll find out, you and I. And after a crash did come through from V5, It's looking like they're able to push it back.
Xiao Xiaobao had to flash away. The flash coming in from Juggut underneath the turret. It's going to be first blood picked up by Juggut. It's traded back for Xiao Xiaobao. The V5, they might have changed out the junglers, but they did not change out the first 5-minute play.
Yeah, they get the first blood, but I mean, Xiao Xiaobao is going to be able to just TP back and get onto this one. Hacker is going to be able to clear the bot side scuttle, and now perhaps he could just, after this one, move up towards the top side scuttle, where he'll have the mid lane priority due to the TP coming through. Top lane has priority right now with ZS pushing in this one. So I'm actually not too sure about that flash coming in from Juggut. He'll have to make good use of that first block money to make sure that it was well worth it.
And I am with you, though. I'm not really too sold on this. It doesn't really seem like it's actually working out, because now Hacker, he's able to invade, take away some chickens, then he can path towards the top half. They probably even thought that it was going to be the immediate call from Juggut to path towards the top lane to get the Scuttlecraft to deny that double scuttle for Hacker, but because he didn't, because he went for the greedy play of the Krugs on the bottom half of the map, he is going to be put massively far behind in this jungle matchup.
And he's not going to stop there. You can take the scuttle here. Now they're getting the vision on towards the Grump. So as soon as Grump is fighting point as well, with the top lane priority that ZS is going to be able to get after a wave has crashed, they can continue this pressure. Like, the small little lead Hacker is getting now is actually quite insane compared to what you got from that first blood. I don't think the first blood was very well worth it, just due to the fact that you hadn't full cleared. You lost so much momentum when you died under that turret.
Look, mid lane. Juggut again is posturing to be able to make this play onto Xiao Xiaobao, but the moment he stepped out of the brush, he was spotted out, and he doesn't have flash this time around. He's not going to be able to go for that play to try to see if they can punish Xiao Xiaobao. They have lost so much of that momentum they could have possibly gotten in this early game.
And here's the thing, all this intel is going to be onto the side of Ultra Prime now. They can do so much on the map, knowing that Juggut is just clearing the top side of the map. Bot lane can play even more aggressive if they want to. Xiao Xiaobao, you said it yourself, he doesn't have flash, but when he has intel that Juggut is clearing, he can play as aggressive as he likes, with no worries, even though there's no wards around mid lane, just due to the fact of how good they are at keeping Juggut intel. They can walk up here in the bot lane as well, try to stop the freeze, just because they know where Juggut is. So this is enabling a lot from Ultra Prime, just in terms of how they play their lanes and how they're facilitating it here.
And I'm just kind of contemplative here of what possibly V5 can do, try to see if they can draw back this game in any kind of way, because every lane seems like they're having a difficult time. Mid lane, you can see the CS lead for Xiao Xiaobao with that kill as well. Bot lane, you have a CS lead for SMLZ. The only lane that does not have a sizable lead is the top lane, but it's ZS, and we know how he can play when it comes to these flanks, when it comes to the potential team fights later on.
We'll need to be a bit careful here, but skirmishing, big potential for it here. I think they're just going to keep taking away whatever they can from Juggut. So with mid lane priority, with bot lane priority, I think they're just going to be stealing away the Raptors as soon as they spawn. And yep, there you have it. There's just so much on this side of the map that Ultra Prime is going to be able to go for. And they can, even after this one, try and set up the jungle towards the blue side of the map if they want to. But it's looking like they're going for the dive.
Full dive, even with Juggut here, the showstopper, and they get the kill onto him. He wasn't the initial target. Uniboy was, but he dies. Double kill for Hacker.
And it all just came back. We go back to that first blood. We go back to the fact where Juggut lost a lot of that priority. We go back to the fact that every lane from Ultra Prime has priority. So not only is the game hard to play because you died on the turret, it's also hard to play because you got no one to help you right now from the side of Juggut. You're all on your own, and if you try to do anything about it, you're just going to lose your life for it.
Oh man, this game, it's so far, it's doom and gloom up in this room. It is not good at all. We look at this replay, and like I said, Juggut was not the initial target, yet he's the one sacrificed initially.
And he goes on to Uniboy afterwards anyway. Like, you can flash away if you want to, and that Leona ultimate is just not going to save you, unfortunately. And I think after this, they're still able to pick up the blue buff, so you can see the gold lead right now from Hacker as well. It's close to 1,000 just in the jungle alone, and that's where all this gold is lying right now from Ultra Prime. We talked about the draft decisions once again. Going for that Rumble first pick, leaving the Diana and set rotation up from Ultra Prime. It's really paying its dividends right now.
And here they are trying to see if they can make a play elsewhere. Xiaoxi was a bit far out. He had the vision, but he dies to Uniboy. So it is going to be a little bit dragged back by V5 right around the dragon. I'd like to see them go for this objective, but instead they're pathing to try to see if they can contend against this Rift Herald take.
Yeah, the thing is, SMLC though, after he's cleared this wave, he does have TP. Xiaoxi just spawned as well, so we could have a longer extended skirmish around this if they're not breaking out and away from the objective immediately, and that's just what they're going to be doing with this Rift Herald. With 6 minutes still up and available to go for a tower, there's still loads of possibilities for you here.
V5, you see that the Rift Herald's taken, the dragon's up, you know that you had the advantage because you got the kill onto Xiaoxi bot lane. Why don't you immediately turn for that objective here, Goldberg? It's boggling me.
I guess they're just too scary to actually try and go for anything at this point in time, just due to the fact that Sylar's not going to be doing much. Eshrel still waiting for that Divine Sunderer, and the same can be said for the Viego if he were to join a team fight. So I think it just comes down to that after the first game, they're very scared to take one of these bad fights that they opted in for earlier.
They are very scared in this game. Ultra Prime, on the other hand, are not. They have been getting a lot in this one. Even if Xiaoxi might have died and Xiao Xiao Bao as well earlier on, they are in a great position. Not only take this dragon, they have the Rift Herald in the inventory. Every single lane is getting priority. They are looking like they are going to accelerate the potential to have that typical team fight that they always thrive in.
Yeah, and right now on the map, there's just nothing V5 is able to get. Bot lane, priority. Mid lane, priority. Top side, priority. Rift Herald, gone. Drake, gone. And now we're still looking for a play for this Rift Herald as well. It's so easy for the side of Ultra Prime right now to either send up Xiaoxi if they'd like to do that, or just move in with priority in the mid lane, move that priority up towards the top side of the map, and then go for a dive onto allies instead. Everything Ultra Prime could do here, they have multiple ways of doing it. They can do it from the top side to mid as well, and that's the scary part right now, that it's hard to actually seal any of this potential damage that's going to come through right now for V5 because they just don't have the priority to work with.
No, because Ultra Prime, despite the fact that we had set this up as the battle at the bottom, how they have been playing this series is a great change of what we are used to from this team. This seems like they're far more in control than we typically see in a lot of their games. A lot of their games, they fall massively far behind in the early game. But here, not only are they able to find these leads, but when it comes to how they themselves get caught out, they know what they need to do to answer back and keep it even.
Yeah, you're completely right about that one. And there we go. They're actually just going forward in the mid lane. It's almost down to 2 plates. And then after the double taps have to come through here, it should just be picked up by the Rift Herald.
There it is.
With mid lane turret being the first one opened up, Ultra Prime is just going to excel their pressure even more. They can always walk in with mid lane priority now. They can always move up towards the top side and have a clear exit path. They can move down towards the bot side and have a clear exit path. So everything right now is just going really well. But TPs are coming through.
TP looking for SMLZ, looking to see if Elias is going to be able to get onto him, but it's a TP answered by ZS. There's no damage on either side just yet, but with both TPs expended by the top lane, both teams are going to fall back. It's just going to be the pressure of Ultra Prime because they are the ones in control of this game, even threatening a potential dive. 5 members onto this bot lane. I don't know if you want to dive 4 members on the other side.
Yeah, I don't think you're going for this one. Every summoner spell is still up for Kepler with the cleanse available as well. You do have that stopwatch for Xiaoxi if you want to juggle some of that tower aggro, but we're still only 12 minutes into the game. Plates are still up. I think it's a bit early to go for these sort of plays right now.
Yeah, way too early, but at least for the side of Ultra Prime, it looked like it could have been SMLC getting caught out. They scare away allies. They make sure that they can continue to reign supreme in each one of these lanes and push back V5 to the brink of annihilation.
Yeah, I completely agree. And now, resets coming through from Xiao, so this is the breathing room you get for V5. As soon as you see a solo laner backing, that means Juggut. Okay, I can actually clear my own camps now. I don't have to worry about getting invaded. So for him right now, it's just about clearing that top side of the map immediately and make sure he can get some sort of resources on the map. Because as soon as Xiao is back in lane, that's when Hacker should be looking for more plays. That's when they should be looking for the mid lane priority and excel that pressure elsewhere.
And right now, it's just a slow, steady game for Ultra Prime. No reason to play too greedy, no reason to try to see if you can go for these unnecessary dives. Instead, they're just pushing in the lanes, trying to see if they can set up vision control, waiting it out. It's another minute until they're going to be able to take their second dragon of the game.
Yeah, that's the thing, and you know, it's going to be a slow snowball, but the composition kind of wants to do the same we saw with the 6. You want to poke him out a little bit, and then when you want to go for that all-in potential, well, you have the Leona, you have the Diana, and you have Setas, once again, who's going to be looking for these flanks, and let's hope V5 has learned a little lesson from last time they just played against this set, because it came from everywhere. Setas just had that number every time a flank was in question.
I have a feeling that they did not, unfortunately, when looking at how this game is already starting to unfold and unravel for V5. They're already in a position where they are down 2,500 gold to Ultra Prime. Before, they were nearly dead even when they finally had to worry about ZS. Here, when they have a lead, I fear that there's not really much V5 can do to stop them, even if they know.
That's the thing. It's hard for them to find any opening in a team fight as well. You don't have backline access with the champions right now, so you're going to be stuck in a bit of a front to back unless you come in from multiple flanks as well, which we already see in V5. They're struggling to do that kind of play. So with Kepler, you're kind of hoping you can poke them down a little bit and then go for a fight in the equalizer perhaps, but then it's also on Ultra Prime to make a mistake, walk into all of this CC, walk into a rail in a choke point where the equalizer is going to have a lot of value, but I just don't think that we're going to be seeing that. And now, Drake being started up from the posturing of V5 right now. It looks like they want to contest it, though.
Oh, no. Instead, they saw that Kepler's an easy target for a Hacker. What a call to realize they can burst him down. And now the damage, the poke for V5, it is gone.
Yeah, Hacker is looking to start an MVP performance for himself here. It's been like this since the early game, ever since he started the first counter jungling into the first dive, and now one-shotting enemy AD carries. Kepler felt like he was in a decent position after having finished the Divine Sundra, but that was not the case. And now on the other side, Rift Hell is being started, and it looks like Ultra Prime, they're not going to look to contest it.
But this is actually nice from V5. This is the answer I wanted before. When a play is made by Ultra Prime, try to take something else. Try to make sure that you're always going tit for tat. But only now, 15 minutes into the game, do they finally learn that lesson, as they're losing towers, they're losing dragons, and they have no semblance of a gold lead.
And it's going way faster than the earlier game we had as well. This time around in the game, all turrets basically were still standing. They had traded 1-for-1, but 20 minutes into the game, mid lane turret was still standing. That's not the case this time around. Ultra Prime really upped the tempo in here.
No idea.
Out of the fuck of war, Hacker is just there to take care of him.
Yeah, poor Kepler. He had no idea. He had seen Hacker kind of nearby, but he didn't guess that he was going to be right there in that pressure, ready to jump on top of him.
And it's just tough as well. You play against the Fed Diana, that's never fun as an AD carry or any squishy member, but, you know, that is the cards that you're dealt with, and that's the situation you're in. And now, with only one outer turret being up for V5, I think that's going to be the strike point Ultra Prime is looking for. As you can see, they're moving up the bot lane here. They're going to keep them in the mid lane to keep that pressure up, and they're going to juggle the pressure back and forth to slowly but surely take care of the last outer turret. When that is done, then they can look to just keep excelling the pressure on towards the camp. And you can see how much damage SMLC is doing now with the Leandra's Anguish in the mid lane.
He is burning them alive, saying anytime you step up, I'm just going to be able to do so much damage. One simple E, the Pillar of Flame as well, any of the abilities connecting from SMLZ are going to chunk out these squishy members of V5.
So, just taking a little turn here where it looks like not much is going to be happening unless Hacker is going to be looking for a little play here onto Kepler.
He wants it.
Have you been satisfied with the brand?
Oh, so far, I mean, he is doing what Brand does best, clear out the minion waves, get a little bit of damage. Sure, he hasn't been able to get a kill yet, but we'll probably see that soon because V5, they're trying to chase down Ultra Prime, but TP in behind to make sure they can scare off these members of V5. The engage comes in with the Magnet Storm, but SMLT is still alive. Here's the Pyroclasm getting a lot of damage with the Moonfall as well. They burst down Re-Heal. Uniboy, you might have respawned, but you're immediately dead. Elias trying to be able to see if he can draw back in the fight with the team, but he's just not going to be able to do it. He's taken out by Xiao Xiao Bao. Only Kepler now getting the little bit of damage onto these low health targets of Ultra Prime. We have seen this before, and poor Kepler, he's going to be able to do nothing to stop Ultra Prime from pushing again into their jungle.
Yeah, and it was a bit off page here. Actually, the Rift Herald was summoned up down towards the bottom side of the map. It just died here, so it felt like half of V5 wanted to go for a push for turrets, while the other one with Re-Heal wanted to go for the engage. And quite honestly, that was the engage in the jungle we talked about. That was the Magnet Storm that could have been paired together with the Equalizer, but the puzzle pieces were just not there together at the same time, and they weren't able to finalize it here. So you can see they're definitely going for it here in the beginning, but you take a look on towards the minimap, and multiple members of V5 are still missing when this engage happens, which means that yes, it's a nice, beautiful engage coming in from Re-Heal, but there's no one ready to capitalize on it, and that's where it goes wrong.
Exactly. Like you said, when the Magnet Storm did come out from Re-Heal, if you saw on the minimap, Juggod was still in mid lane. He was still pathing to the fight. That they need to layer that CC. They need to have the puzzle pieces, as you said, actually click together and not just jam them and hope that you're making a picture just because you think that they should fit.
You know, I feel like that's a pretty good analogy of what we're seeing sometimes here from V5. Just throwing that Hail Mary as we talked about. We saw it a bit in the earlier game as well. And now with 1 minute onto the next Mountain Drake, I mean, I just can't see what V5 is going to be doing about this. The vision control, the pressure, all in Ultra Prime's favor, and at the same time, if you're looking for a team fight, the gold is just in Ultra Prime's league. So right now, for V5, you're kind of just hoping that Ultra Prime is making a mistake. That's what you're betting for at this point already in the game, 20 minutes in.
Whenever you have to bet on your opponents making a cataclysmic mistake like that, things have gone very southern. They are not going to be going well any which way unless, like you said, it is a miracle where they're able to find some sort of mistake. And even with that, they are so far behind. It's 6,000 now at 20 minutes that they are behind Ultra Prime. You're needing multiple of those mistakes. Right now, they just cannot rely on that. They're getting dove with a huge Moonfall combo. Man, nobody can survive there, even though they got Xiaoxi down. Juggod, he is trying to be able to get away. You can see the flank from Uniboy, but Uniboy, you're one against the world, and it is against ZS. You cannot fight him. He is the true boss. You have only stolen his title, and it's the ace for Ultra Prime.
I can kind of respect the fact that V5 was just like, you know what, let's just take the fight. Let's just see what happens. Let's just jam that puzzle piece into the puzzle and see if it fits. But, you know, big surprise, it didn't. And once again, Ultra Prime is just looking so damn strong here. It was ZS with the flank again. And I think he was actually spotted beforehand, but it still didn't scare away V5. They still wanted to go for the fight, and they paid for it immediately. With the set Diana rotation coming through, you saw the all-in there. Right, it's just beautifully layered. And there he is, ZS onto 3 people with the Arcane Shift coming in from Kepler. Easy for Hacker to just get in here. And as soon as this is down, I mean, this is the easiest team fight of your life as an AD carry, as Xiao Xiao Bar in the background. Not much for you to do here.
Not at all. It's pretty much just getting free damage all the time after they kill Juggod too. Uniboy, he was hoping to be able to get some retribution for the team, but really it is nothing that you have left in this tank. Nothing you really have to be able to stop the momentum that Ultra Prime have been able to pick up for themselves.
Yeah, oh, they're just going to be burning as well. You take a look onto SMLC's inventory right now, and you realize, okay, that's Brand. He makes them burn. Okay, that's Leandro's Anguish. They're going to burn. Okay, that's Demonic Embrace. They're just going to burn even more. If you get hit by one ability, like that's triple dot effect on you. I really want to see that as well.
I didn't know you could burn more than just with fire. I thought fire was enough burning, but apparently there are other levels to burning that I didn't know about.
Yeah, that's the thing. I would love to compare them to something, but honestly, I'm not as creative to actually do it. But with the sieging coming through here, with the Baron buff coming in now, it should be fairly easy for Ultra Prime to just excel their pressure on towards the turrets now. Zedes trying to get away here, might get caught off guard.
Kepler, every single time he steps forward, Xiao Bao is able to unleash the calling, force them back. They don't even need to kill these members of V5. It is a 10,500 gold lead Ultra Prime have here. They can easily enter this base. Pretty much, they're saying this base now belongs to us.
And that's the thing. Inhibitor down in the bot lane of the map. They're just going to be looking to do the same towards the middle. The minion wave coming in from the top side as well.
Oh, that was just a guess there from Reheal. You can see with the control ward, they didn't actually know. He was just banking on the fact that SMLZ was there.
Okay, nice little shutdown to come through. You remove some of the Baron buff, you get the resets to come through, and you get yourself some extra breathing room. But the thing is, that is just one picks of many you need to get back into this game. You're 10k behind. Baron buff is still up for quite a bit. But I think with the resets coming through now, you got over the worst deal. But the thing is, you know, Mountain Soul is spawning in 3 minutes. There's going to be another Baron. Then it's going to be Elder.
Did you get over the worst of it? I mean... Yeah.
Perhaps from the Baron, you know?
Wait, how does that spot
he actually was spotted on board here.
Wait,
so
they had a control ward.
Yeah, but that's the tricky part about that bush. It has 2 angles. You know, it goes around the corner, so you actually need to place it in the middle of that bush. It's a bit finicky, but yeah.
Because it was on the other side, the wall blocked it. Oh, that's why. Oh, wow. That's why I was surprised too. I'm like, that's a good guess from Reheal, but that makes sense. It makes sense when you think about the walls.
Yeah, you know what? I liked it better when you said they guessed. It felt more awesome, at least,
yeah,
in the position where they put them against the wall.
They should have just let us have that. We didn't need to do the replay. Everyone just forget. Twitch chat, that didn't happen.
But, of course, moving forward here, Baron buff no longer on the table, but still a team with a lot of gold right now, and it's not going to stop them from pushing this in. Bot lane pressure is coming through with the inhibitor being down as well, and with Zedes in the mid lane, it should be fairly easy for them to juggle this pressure as well as the sieging begins.
And this is why I said I don't think that they are over the worst of it at all. They might not have the Baron buff anymore, but you can see the pressure that UP still can exert over V5, forcing them yet again back into their base. Pretty much the rinse and repeat, even with a simple pick onto SMLZ. It is not stopping the fact that this is still a 10,000 gold deficit V5 are in.
And that's the thing, they're desperate. Equalizer coming through, but quickly shut down.
Quickly because of relentless pursuit from Xiao Bao, and ZS himself just allowed to continually escort these minions into the mid lane. They're just looking to see if they can continually get to these thresholds onto these towers so they can eventually knock them over.
It's just going to keep going at it. Bot lane is stacking up with 2 super minions as well now, so at some point in time, someone will have to see to that. Zedes still in the mid lane. I think this is going to be the push, but another turret will break as the Nexus turrets are taking a beating.
Yeah, these turrets are both so low at the moment. Mid lane's going to have a lot of minions showing up. The Culling going to be able to get a lot of damage onto Jug God, but so is True Shot Barrage onto all the members of Ultra Prime. But, oh... that is brutal that the tower, the Nexus turret, did fall to the super minions.
Yeah, that's the thing. So they're just going to go through with the reset. Mountain Soul is going to be spawning in 40 seconds, so should be fairly easy. After that one, you can just set up around the Baron, and with the pressure you have on the map, with the deep vision you can lay, the line of the line of defense rather, should be very hard for V5 to penetrate. And that should, I mean, we should just be looking at the last minutes of the game of this series here, unless V5 is able to come up with a miracle fight. You can see now they're TPing in for a flank. They're looking for this Drake.
They're looking, I think, not only for the flank, but they're trying to see if maybe they can pull off a miracle. Nobody has any idea where Uniboy is. They don't even know that that control ward was in that alcove, but unfortunately, the rest of V5 have now postured towards the bottom half of the map. And look at Xiao Xiaobao. He is immediately making the call, saying, fine, we are willing to trade this dragon. It is not that critical for us. We can easily start taking mid lane with the dragon down to 50%. Hacker, he had the smite fight. He lost it out to Jug God, and now the back line. Uniboy is going to have a huge moonfall himself, but there's a lot of damage coming in from ZS, trying to see if they can keep SNLZ alive. But Xiao Xiaobao, he wants to be able to end the game. The fight's still being won by Ultra Prime, even though ZS finally taken down by Allies. Two members are still alive. Xiao C Hacker trying to be able to see if they can rejoin Xiao Xiaobao with Kepler in the base. Xiao C taking a lot of the brunt of the damage coming in from Uniboy and Allies, and now Xiao Xiaobao is here to help out, make sure that he can scare off the members. Diego trying to be able to fight back. He couldn't get anything back, and Uniboy is burning. Double kill comes in from this Lucian with Kepler on the wings, waiting to see if he can poke out the members. Spot out with the blue trinket. He keeps the game just barely going.
Yeah, but for what cause? You lost all your Nexus turrets now. Yes, you get the Mounted Drake, but it means nothing as a singular objective there. And the Baron is still up on the table. Death time was not that long from Ultra Prime. It's only Xiao C who's the longest we'll be waiting for. And TPs, they're just being channeled immediately from Ultra Prime. They're going for this objective as fast as they can. Uniboy still 15 seconds on him, and he does not have a TP.
Doesn't have the TP, doesn't have the easy way to get in. Only Allies might be able to help out, but you can see from the members of V5 where they are positioned, nobody is going to try to see if they can contest the purple worm being picked up by Ultra Prime.
And there we go, one last reset. There's no Nexus turrets for you to worry about. You can literally just be walking down mid. You can run it down mid as Ultra Prime now. For once, is this okay? And I think that's just what they're going to be looking for. 3-4 items onto Xiao Xiaobao. He's incredibly strong onto this Lucian now as well. Medjai still stacked up for Hacker on 16 pages. And V5, they had a bit of a miracle where they came out even on that Drake fight. If that is even something you can say when they lost their Nexus turrets and they lost everything. It was as even as it was going to get.
5 Goldberg. It was a 4v5 that they come out technically even on when they lose so much of their base. And like you said, now UP can march it down mid lane to look to end this game.
Yeah, it seems like Hacker still wants to clear out some jungle camps here, and you know, they're still not running into this one without reason. Rehill is spotted here on the pink ward. It's going to come through, and he's not going to have that flank. And that's what you're looking for. Just make sure that you're not able to be flanked. Just take them on a full-on 5v5, and you should just beat them with your wallet and how ahead you are right now.
13,000 gold separates these two. Ultra Prime, the team fight team, they love these moments. They thrive in the chaos. Make sure they can get a clean 2-0 over V5. Rehill had to flash away, but instead it's Jug God. He keeps dying when others are the ones that they had targeted in the first place. And Ultra Prime gets the 2-0 to make sure they are at the top of the bottom.
And there we go. It's finally finished. It's 2-0 for Ultra Prime. And their second series they're picking up here. So V5 still not with a single win in a series at least completed that they're able to pick up. And this might be that stepping stone we talked